All right, all right. Welcome back. Welcome back. I am Lamborghini C, also known as the HR Whisperer, coming live at you as promised on some of my other platforms. I would come and talk to you guys about this FTC ruling, which banned the use of non compete agreements earlier this year. Well, guess what? There's been an update. So before I get started, let me just play some information I shared last week on this for you guys. Hold on. If I can look, if I can figure out how to share. Yeah. Let's see. All right. So I'm going to share my screen. If you guys are not already following me on TikTok, you can, as well as IG, Facebook, and what have you, and LinkedIn as well. But if you want to follow my TikTok, look for the HR Whisperer or Edmund Enterprises LLC, and you'll see me there. So you'll know that you're in the right place. But I'm going to share a video that I shared last week with some new updates or information. All right. This ruling on the ban on non-compete agreements. So I'm just going to read through this and give you the tea. I will be going live on one of my platforms, most likely having a discussion on this. But here we go. As widely reported earlier this year, the Federal Trade Commission issued a ruling banning nearly all non-compete agreements with limited exceptions. The rule was to take effect on September 4th of 2024. However, as we, there have been some changes, as I just mentioned. Now, there have been many legal challenges, as we knew that there were going to be challenges to this ruling. And so some of them were successful in obtaining or halting the rule from taking effect on September 4th. Here's some of the tea, guys. So as of August 20th, 2024, the federal court in Texas actually overturned the rule in order that it cannot be enforced or take effect on September 4th. Make sure that you're talking to an employment attorney, a trusted HR advisor that knows what they're talking about. Okay, let me go. Okay, look, I just wanted to come to you guys and give you an update. This. All right, all right. I had to add a little bit of pettiness in there, right? Because look, I have to keep it real. I keep it 100 over there in TikTok. I don't have to be as buttoned up like as I do on like LinkedIn and stuff. So, like I said, if you want to learn some information and kind of laugh, have a good time while learning it, and stay updated on some of the latest trends as well as like the different legal and law changes, follow the HR Whisperer Admin Enterprises page on TikTok. You're going to get a lot of valuable information over there. But like I mentioned, last week, there was a big upset, right? Now, let's just back up for a minute. Earlier this year, there was a ruling on the non-compete agreements that actually banned the use of them, right? And so it was released. It looks like it was back in, I have April 23rd. Now, I think I've shared before, I'm also a member, in full transparency, I'm a member of the National Small Business Association Leadership Council. So some of these things, they do not hesitate, honey. If there's one of these rulings or law changes, they actually have a fund. They will file lawsuits to try to fight against them and things like that. And I think this may have been one, right, that they weren't in favor of because, again, it can be seen as being a hindrance to businesses or small businesses especially, right? But the reality is, guys, I'll be honest, when this came out, I wasn't too bothered or shook. I actually, on one hand, I thought, okay, wow, it's a good thing. Like on, the hand where I recruit in certain areas, and then I also own, some other businesses. And one of those businesses is in the insurance industry, right? And so in that industry, a lot of agents' hands are tied because they are on these non-compete agreements. And so they can't go, or they have to wait these absorbent amount of times before they can actually leave and go, especially a captive company, and go, to maybe another company or what have you. And so that was a win for them, right? But also for physicians, because many doctors and physicians are on these non-compete agreements, which makes it a little bit harder for them to be able to um, sometimes, in their world, like they're used to picking up extra work or shifts. They might have a couple different, jobs or gigs that they're doing, right? And so the non-compete agreement kind of hinders that. And it also, again, even from an employer perspective in that world, it also ties our hands, like from an HR perspective too, when we're trying to get creative with schedules, because there are people that would just love to maybe pick up shifts only on the weekends, right, to provide coverage, because they have their main clinic or what have you that they're working at during the week. And so in some cases they can, like if it's a direct competitor, because of the whole non-compete agreement situation. So again, I don't know which side of the aisle you guys may have been on with this. I kind of was in the middle, because again, the reality is once this came out, I started to have conversations with my clients, and really talk through, okay, what issue were we trying to solve with the non-compete agreement, right? And in many cases, when we really started talking and breaking it down, what I realized is that the non-compete agreement really wasn't even the right tool or resource for them to use. But it's just so widely known. Everyone knows non-compete agreements and NDAs, and don't even get me on NDAs. If you're in my inner circle, what NDA stands for. But no, but again, like often I would find that the reality was that in many cases, the non-compete agreement wasn't even the right resource. We really needed to implement, confidentiality, strong confidentiality agreements, and policies around sharing, our, practices, or going online, with some of our, information and things of that nature, and our branding, right? And so, I was able to kind of help calm some of the nerves of, some of the folks that I was working with, clients and such, that had some angst because of this new ruling going into effect. Also keeping in mind, like even with this going into effect for very, very high level executive roles, it still was in effect. Like there were some exceptions, right? Even with this ban. But let me tell you, last week there was a change and an update. And when I tell you, yes, this is a political year, political season right now, it has been just a crazy, crazy year as it relates to all of the different changes, like with laws as it relates to employee and human resources. And so, I will tell you that I think a lot of us, myself, in particular, was caught off guard, because those of us in the HR space, especially if we're consulting, a lot of us have been prepping our clients for this to go into effect, because it was slated to go into effect September 4th. Now, although it was, like I said, it was, the initial ruling was released April, I think it was 23rd of 2024, but it actually went into effective on September 4th, right? And so we're nearing September 4th. So many of us had started to work with our clients to get them up to speed and just take a look and, see if we need to maybe get some other policies or things in place that could help protect them and protect their intellectual property, as well as, their branding, and not to mention even some of the physical property that they may have within their business and organization. So, as you can see, there was just an absorbent amount of articles that actually came out as it relates to this ruling. And so, it was quite interesting, right? When we look at, the results of this ruling, but essentially the ruling, the United States District Court for the Northern District of Texas set aside the FTC's rule banning essential and all post-employment non-compete agreements. Now, the ruling, which applies nationwide, means that the rule can't be enforced or otherwise take effect on September 4th. So it put a whole halt on this whole thing going into effect, which really, really changed the game. But again, like this is an ever evolving door. Of course, there's already been actions filed to now combat that. So this thing is going to be ping ponging. It's going to be going back and forth. So you are going to want to like stay abreast to what's going on. If it's something that impacts you personally, whether because you work in a field and you feel like right now you're being hindered because you are under a non-compete and you had maybe a business decision or career decision kind of hanging on, the initial ruling, you can easily set up Google alerts for yourself, or make sure you follow the HR Whisperer on whether our Facebook, IG, or LinkedIn page or TikTok, so that you can stay up to date and abreast to like the changes with some of these rulings and this one in particular. But let me know in the comments what questions you guys might have about this updated ruling. I'm interested to hear how it's going to impact and affect you. What things have you began to put into place? And just, again, like keep your alerts on because we'll be here letting you know as things continue to change. Have a great day. Bye.